Hi, welcome to the very first episode of the Misperception podcast. I'm your host, Destiny, and this is my first podcast, y'all. This is my first episode. We're very, very excited. I'm not gonna hold you with all my excitement today, but I am gonna say that I'm so happy that you decided to join us. So excited that you decided to tune in to this episode and just hang out with me for a moment, get to know me, and let's just get to talking about stuff. Do y'all miss conspiracy theories? Like the theories that used to pop up and kind of scare us low key. So that's me. I won't say I'm like really like drastically on the spectrum, but your girl does like a good conspiracy only because it makes your brain move and think and consider things outside of the possibilities. Most people that are conspiracy theories are probably spiritualists. And this podcast is basically going to give you a spiritual perspective to like the ordinary contemporary things that we faced in life. This first series we're going to name Living on Purpose, and it's all about seeking out your divine assignment, what you were created to do, who you are, and how can you best show up in the world. So without further ado, once again, welcome to the podcast. I'm so happy that you decided to come. So living on purpose, right? What is purpose? It's what God created you to do. And there is this saying, who you are is your gift to the world. What you become is your gift to God. So it's like a circle, right? And before we can start participating in the way that we would like, we'll first have to figure out who am I and what was I created to do. The best way to do that is to go to your creator. If you want to figure out what your purpose is in life, you need to access the person that created you. Your mom is not going to tell you who you are. Your environment will try to convince you who you are. Your boyfriend, your romantic partnerships, your platonic relationship, all are going to give you options and avenues to honestly assign you a purpose. But you don't want that. You want to figure out your divine purpose, the one that your creator made specifically for you. You do that in prayer. You do that in isolation. You do that by having faith. You do that by trusting your intuition, listening to your gut feeling, that sensation, and allowing your body, your mind, your spirit to be in sync. 1 second. I think y'all can hear those dogs barking in the background. And so body, mind, and spirit needs to be in sync. That's how you're going to know and recognize if you're in alignment or not. It's a sensational experience. So how do you know if your life is becoming aligned? Does your mind, your body, and your spirit all say yes to whatever you're setting out to obtain? Or is something kind of out of sync? And if something is out of sync, you don't have to rely on it, but you do give it its fair moment to identify what is wrong. It's like an indicator. If I'm feeling angry about something, anger isn't the worst thing. I don't need to suppress that anger, but I do need to understand what's making me angry and what is that indicating, what boundary that's probably being crossed or compromised. That's all I'm saying. So you cannot live on purpose if you don't know what your purpose is. You need a quiet season with just you and God. This period is known as isolation. Eliminate anything that's not essential. Relationships, drinking, parties, excessive, unhealthy habits. It's a gradual transition. So in that season, just try to eliminate anything that's not essential into the space. Food is essential, but Netflix isn't. So maybe cut that Netflix out for a little bit so you can learn to hear the voice of God. God is not loud. God is always going to show up as a whisper, because his voice is so subtle and it's low, you may not recognize it. But the more you're in isolation, the more you are allowing your spirit and your being to transcend into like the realm of spirituality and to listen to your creator, that whisper is going to become very familiar. And once it's familiar, you'll hear it in the room full of noise. You'll hear it in the midst of the chaos. So once you're in isolation, what's next? Most of us will enter isolation with some form of insecurities, possibly trauma, possibly just unhealthy habits. You're going to have something, and God is going to work whatever that something is out of you, right? All I got to say to that, whatever your problem is, that's between you and God. That's not for you to proclaim it to the world unless, you have the courage and have been given the okay to do so. Whatever you're carrying, hand it to God. And whatever he tell you to do after that, all I have to say is one good piece of advice that's going to get you through isolation is be receptive. You can turn this moment of isolation, it could be intended to be 1 month, 1 year. And if you're not receptive to what God is calling you to do, then you're either going to get out of isolation too prematurely, or you're just going to be claiming isolation. Be receptive so that your journey won't be 12 years when it's meant to be 1. That's all. It's a beautiful experience. It's going to be the most challenging one that you've ever faced. Yes. It's going to be emotionally draining. It's going to be spiritually challenging, and it's going to be full of enlightenment. But it will be hard. It won't even be linear, but you can do it. And on the other side is a better version of you, a more purposeful version of you, a more intentional version of you, a happier, peaceful version, I promise. God will not reveal your purpose to you if you are traumatized. Trauma and purpose do not go hand in hand. You cannot, it's like participating indoor and outdoor. You're going to have to pick one. You cannot operate in survival mode and function as a healed person. They do not, it's oil and water. They do not mix. Your purpose will not be revealed to you if you are traumatized. So in isolation, make sure that you're doing that work to heal so that you can get to a point to where you're living your life on purpose. At the end of this, you relying and utilizing spiritual warfare and fully connecting to your essence. You will overcome those demons. When you are enacting spiritual warfare, you will conquer every single demon, because alone, we're not able to conquer our demons. That's a realm that literally I cannot reach. But when you put, it's raining. I hope it's not disrupting anything. But when you put God in the midst of it and angels in the midst of it, they're in that realm. You got people fighting on your behalf. You just gotta know how to call their name. You gotta know how to reach out. So be very mindful. You can have your divine gifts. We all have them, and you could be a traumatized person with divine gifts. However, you won't know how to use those divine gifts if you're traumatized. You won't know how to set forth a purposeful life if you're traumatized. You won't know how to bring glory to your Creator if you're traumatized, because that gift that He gave you is blocked until you unlock your fullest self. So we all have our gifts. We have them already. But in order to use them, we have to heal. Give yourself permission to slow down, to feel, to heal, to cry, to grieve, to release. Whatever emotion you have to do, you need to give yourself permission to do it if you want to live life on purpose. So you've been in isolation for a few months now, and you're wondering, okay, when am I going to get out, Lord? He'll let you know. I can't tell you that. But when you are in isolation, something that comes hand in hand is going to be faith. You have to trust God to do it for you. I'm going to give you a testimony. So I entered isolation, y'all. I entered isolation kicking, screaming, hollering. I did not want to go at all. Like, I try every route to combat depression. I tried every route to make my life an enjoyable experience. I tried every avenue to be happier, to be more peaceful, to be in sync. Nothing was working. So I go to the Creator and I say, Father, you're going to have to fix me or I'm coming up there with you. Life down here, it is not. Look, they was hyping heaven up. They've been hyping heaven up down here. So go ahead and do something. Work your magic with me because I'm about 2 seconds before I call your number. Before I come up here and visit. And the beautiful thing about my journey is that's what I said. But I 100%, I didn't think God was gonna do it for me, y'all. I was honestly, I kind of laughed. I was like, man, it's crazy as hell. Like, how am I saying this to my Creator right now? He's not gonna do it. But I don't really have another option, so why not? That's what I did. He did it for me. But that came at a cost. That came with a price, y'all, and I paid in full. But I would recommend it for everybody because this version of me that's looking at you right now, I wouldn't trade it. I'll go through isolation again for it, and I don't want to go back. God revealed so much to me in isolation, and one of the biggest things that He did create, which is my next point, that He did articulate to me, which is my next point, is that Destiny, you got a faith problem. I'm like, Lord, I ain't got no faith problem. I'm taking isolation in right now. It's raining, so I'm really hoping this is not picking up on this mic. But if it does, y'all, try to persevere, please. But so in my isolation period, one of my biggest struggle points was faith. I could not trust God fully. Like I walked into isolation not thinking God would do it for me first and foremost. After He did it for me, He was like, "See, I could do it for you." I was like, okay. But I bet you can't do this, you can't do that. God revealed to me that I don't think your trust isn't. I'm trying to articulate this the best way I can. God revealed to me that I didn't really have a faith problem. I had a trust problem. And it wasn't with Him. I had experienced life for 24 plus years. And ongoing, right? I'm 26 now. But at this moment, I'm experiencing life for a good 24 years. I've had experiences with men, and that could be brothers, uncles, cousins. I've had experiences with boyfriends. I've had experiences with male figures that should have not contributed to the decline of my mental health, but they did, right? And because in this society we acknowledge God as a man, He said, "Oh, Destiny, you associated that distrust with man to me, but I'm God. I'm not man. I created that one, and I know that's obvious, right? Like I can say it now clearly, but in that moment when you still have trauma and you still literally hurting, bleeding, God is divine. But we recognize Him in our consciousness as a male. We associate Him. I'm calling Him the whole entire time because that's what we've been programmed to do. And with that programming, I didn't trust Him. I automatically took away His power because of my own experiences. But when God revealed that to me, He not only said, I'm not man, I'm the creator of man. I'm going to show you every instance you had with man that led to you coming to this point right here and show you how it was there. Y'all, it blew my mind. Don't question God no more. Love God so much that if something happened in my life, I'm going to trust Him not only to take care of me or somebody else as well. I had the faith of a mustard seed. And when I say that's all you need, That is all you need because, honey, I can laugh now, but I was not laughing at first. I swear. I know it's hard, but it gets easier. It absolutely gets easier. So, after faith and after you're implementing it and loving on God and really growing in your faith journey, it's going to come to a moment where you have to surrender. Just like we couldn't live like in survival mode and in a healed place, you can't have your will and God's will for your life. You got to choose again. And that's the beautiful thing about free will, baby. You get another opportunity to choose. So God showed me, and this was all before I even got out of isolation. Now, I'm still in isolation. But it was time. My will for my life, right? Or God's will for my life. After God has shown me what he could do, what he's capable of, how many times he was omnipresent. So now I get to choose my will, God's will for my life. I surrendered. And surrendering has a very negative connotation to it. But I promise, surrendering my will to God did not indicate my weakness. It solidified my strength. And I just want y'all to understand that God is the most powerful thing on this planet. Deciding to live your life with an adjacent God, that's the best decision you can make. It's the best one you could make. And I did that. And honestly, I did that one without ease. And it was the most beautiful experience that I had ever had before that point. Like, it's definitely something you have to go through for yourself to fully understand it. But I promise, if you get here, this is the point where I left isolation. After I surrendered my will and I mended my needs with his needs and my desires with his desires, I started planning. I started planning how I'm about to reach purpose. This podcast is literally a representation of me doing purpose-driven activities, doing what God told me to do, to live. I will live off of this podcast. I will live off of my book that I will publish soon. And with this being my very first episode, that's a bold statement, but I truly believe it. I've been told it. So I just want to reiterate one more time, deciding to just mend my will with God's will for my life, it was the strongest thing I could have ever done. And honestly, it's the natural order of things. I said this on my TikTok, and I want to say it again. I don't think that this is a becoming journey. And we're not becoming these great, grand versions of ourselves by all these self-help books or these tactics to become more healthy and more disciplined. Like, all those things are good. But what if we're not becoming? Like, just consider the aspect that we're not becoming anything, but we're unbecoming all things. All things that shaped us, that taught us, that mold us to these versions of ourselves that we think we need to overcome. What if we're not becoming this great version? We're just unbecoming so that we could be naked again, so we can be ourselves once more. But because we aren't spiritual beings no more, we don't know what that looks like. We're covered in flesh. We're covered in clothes. We're covered in a lot of things that did not help with our creation. What if we're just getting back to that? And that's why it's scary. I don't know who I am. Yeah, because you hadn't gotten naked yet. That sounds weird, but I'm serious. That's just my thing. The purest people on this planet are our children. Their imagination is working in full effect. They are the closest things in human flesh to God. Maybe that's the thing. Just with all the insight and knowledge that we do have, still be able to have the imagination and the creativity and the courage of a child. Why not? Why not? But anyways, I need to keep moving forward. You ask God your purpose. God will tell you your purpose, and then you choose to live on purpose. And I'm gonna say that one more time. So we have free will. You ask God your purpose. God will tell you your purpose. You have to choose to live on purpose. And that's why free will is always gonna be a reoccurring topic here. You always get to choose. And it's not that I don't sentiment or empathize with struggles or decisions that people make. I fully can understand them and feel them actually. But you have to decide. And whatever decision you decide to do, just make sure you can fully stand by it. And if there's any inclement in your spirit that you should have did something else, ask for forgiveness, not permission, okay? Just do it. Everything's going to tell you can't. Everything's going to tell you, no, this is why. But what she said and how they looking, you and God, that's the only voice you need to be listening to. The only one. But eventually God is going to release you from isolation. You're going to have a great time. And it's going to be time for you to go one day. And I want to tell you that you're going to re-enter into the same environment that you left. So don't think that the environment changed. You changed. You got stronger. Your foundation got steadier. Everything happened internally. And it happened so deeply that now it's your responsibility to reshape things externally. Just keep waking up with purpose on your mind, and I promise you can change things. 4 months, 8 months, 12 months. You're just going to keep growing. This podcast has been 2 years and some months in the making. And I'm just now coming out with it. But I got this, I received this literally years ago. Keep waking up with purpose on your mind. When you change your perception, you alter your reality. Believe that. Believe in your purpose. Believe in your cause. Believe in your fight. Believe in God. All right. So it's near the end of the episode. I'm not sure how long we've been going. But I do want to leave you with a quote of the day. And because this is my first episode, we're going to finish this quote of the day with my favorite quote. And my favorite quote goes like this. An argument with someone else is politics, but an argument with yourself is poetry. Let it sink. An argument with someone else is politics, but an argument with yourself is poetry. And this isn't just a poem for me. It's a life concept. It's a gentle reminder that human evolution is measured based on our ability to produce poetry. Our ability to go and dive deep into the things that we need to in order to release a part of ourselves that grants us freedom. It's our guide to purpose. And I heard this at 19, and it just stuck with my spirit. I didn't understand it then. 19, no. 26. It's funny how life works. Anyways, tune into my next episode of the Misperception podcast. I had such a great time. It rained, a train passed, I think dogs barked, and it was some of the fourth thing. But we kept going. We had a great time, and it was so exciting to do this. It was so exciting, and I hope you watch this through. I hope you tune in to my next episode, and I hope you receive something from today. Bye.